The next 18 months of the automotive industry are about to be absolutely unhinged. We're talking 1,000+ horsepower Corvette, a muscle car brand doing a full 180 on electric power, and a Toyota Corolla so radically redesigned that lifelong fans are questioning everything. These are the 10 upcoming cars launching in 2026 and 2027 that are going to genuinely break the internet, and I'm ranking them from exciting all the way up to completely game-changing. Let's get into it. We're starting with a car that almost nobody expected to see on a hype list, the Toyota Corolla. But this isn't your commuter appliance Corolla anymore. Toyota is doing a full generation overhaul built on their brand new multi-energy platform architecture. What makes that platform special is that it's engineered from day one to support gasoline, hybrid, and fully electric powertrains all on the same chassis. That kind of flexibility is rare in the industry, and it signals that Toyota is finally going all in on powertrain diversity instead of hedging bets. But the real conversation starter is the styling. Early design leaks and patent filings show a much more aggressive, almost concept car level look, sharp creases, a wider stance, a totally reimagined front fascia. It's a dramatic departure from the conservative Corolla DNA that's dominated for decades, and naturally, Toyota loyalists are split right down the middle. Some are calling it a bold evolution. Others are saying the brand has completely abandoned the reliability-first identity that made the Corolla the best-selling car nameplate on the entire planet. Either way, it's going to move metal, and it's going to dominate conversations at every level of the market. Up next, the complete redesign of the Kia Telluride, the three-row family SUV that basically rewrote the rulebook when it launched. The original Telluride was a phenomenon. It won every comparison test, had dealer markups stretching into the thousands, and turned Kia from a budget brand into a legitimate mainstream contender in the family SUV segment. So the pressure on this second generation is enormous. Kia is dropping the naturally aspirated V6 in favor of a turbocharged 4-cylinder as the base engine, a move that prioritizes fuel efficiency and emissions compliance, but one that's already raising eyebrows among enthusiasts who love the smooth power delivery of that outgoing 6-cylinder. The bigger headline, though, is the all-new hybrid variant. This is Kia leaning hard into electrified powertrains without going full battery electric, which makes sense given the charging infrastructure concerns that families with road trip lifestyles still deal with every day. The design is sharper, more angular, and the interior tech is expected to mirror what we've seen in the flagship EV9. The question everyone's asking, can the second generation Telluride recapture that lightning in a bottle magic of the original? Or will it become just another solid option in an increasingly crowded segment? Now we move into genuinely new territory. The BMW iX3 is the very first production vehicle built on BMW's Neue Klasse platform, a ground-up architecture that the company has been teasing for years as the foundation of their entire future lineup. This is not an evolution. This is a reset. The exterior design language is radically simplified. We're talking cleaner surfacing, a much more restrained kidney grille, and proportions that feel more athletic and less bloated than recent BMW SUVs. Inside, the cockpit is nearly all digital with a panoramic display stretching across the dash, minimal physical controls, and an interface philosophy that's much closer to a smartphone than a traditional car. It's a clear signal that BMW is targeting the Tesla and Chinese EV buyer who expects technology-first interiors. Under the skin, the Neue Klasse platform promises round cell battery technology for better energy density, a next-generation electric drive unit, and significantly faster charging speeds. BMW has said publicly that this platform will underpin nearly every new model they produce going forward, which means the iX3 isn't just a new car, and it's a preview of what every BMW will look and feel like for the next decade. The stakes genuinely could not be higher for Munich. Alright, here's where things get polarizing. The Jeep Recon is the brand's first fully electric vehicle to earn official trail-rated certification, which is the gold standard for off-road capability in the Jeep lineup. It packs 650 horsepower from its dual motor setup, and it comes with removable doors and a removable roof panel. Just like the Wrangler, on paper this checks every single box for adventure-oriented buyers who want to go green. But there's a catch, and it's a big one. A projected range of only about 250 miles on a full charge. For a vehicle that's specifically marketed toward people who drive deep into remote trails, national forests, and desert landscapes, that range figure is a serious concern. Off-road driving is notoriously energy-intensive. crawling over rocks, powering through sand, climbing steep grades. All of that eats battery at a much faster rate than highway cruising, so the Recon creates this fascinating tension between Jeep's off-road heritage and the practical realities of current battery technology. Oh, it's the kind of vehicle that could either prove that electric off-roaders are ready for prime time, or confirm that the technology needs another generation before it can truly replace combustion in the trail driving space. The off-road community is watching very closely. This one might be the most dramatic brand reversal in modern automotive history. When Dodge launched the all-electric Charger Daytona, they marketed it with a simulated exhaust sound system meant to replicate the muscle car experience. The reception was not kind. Sales fell far below projections, and the enthusiast community that had defined the Dodge brand identity for decades felt alienated by the pivot to battery power. So what did Dodge do? They pivoted right back. The 2026 Charger 6-pack brings an all-new Hurricane inline-6 engine under the hood, a twin turbocharged power plant that Stellantis engineered specifically to deliver traditional muscle car torque with modern efficiency. This isn't a V8 though, and that's the second layer of controversy. Inline-6 engines are historically associated with European sports sedans, not American muscle, so Dodge is asking buyers to accept a fundamentally different engine layout carrying the Charger name. The muscle car community is genuinely divided. One camp sees the 6-pack as a triumphant return to what Dodge does best, raw, combustion-powered performance machines. The other camp feels like the brand lost its nerve, tried the future, failed, and then retreated to the familiar. No matter where you land on it, this is one of the most closely watched nameplate revivals of the decade, and the sales numbers are going to tell us a lot about what enthusiasts actually want versus what they say they want online. Sticking with American performance, Ford is doing something that nobody expected in 2026. They're releasing a supercharged V8 Mustang. The Dark Horse SC is essentially the spiritual successor to the legendary Shelby GT500, and it arrives at a time when nearly every other manufacturer is either downsizing engines or going electric. Under the hood sits a 5.2-liter supercharged V8, the kind of powertrain that makes an unmistakable visceral statement. Ford has paired it with a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission for faster, more precise shifts than any Mustang manual box could deliver. Why? That transmission choice is significant because it signals Ford is targeting genuine track performance, not just straight-line bragging rights. This car exists as a deliberate counter-narrative to the electrification push. While competitors are investing billions in battery development, Ford is doubling down on the emotional connection that a naturally aspirated or force-fed V8 creates. The exhaust note alone is a selling point. In an era where that kind of powertrain is increasingly endangered, the Dark Horse SC feels almost defiant, like Ford is drawing a line in the sand and saying this kind of driving experience still matters and still deserves a place in the lineup. It's nostalgia meets engineering in the best possible way. The Supertruck arms race just escalated to another level. The Ram 1500 SRT TRX is back, and this time it's packing 777 horsepower from a supercharged Hemi 5.8, a direct and deliberate response to the Ford Raptor R, which has dominated the high-performance pickup conversation for the past few years. Ram claims a 0 to 60 time of just 3.5 seconds. Let that register for a moment. This is a full-size, body-on-frame pickup truck accelerating faster than the vast majority of sports cars on the market. The suspension is a fully independent setup with long travel capability designed for high-speed desert running. Think Baja-style performance and something you can also use to tow a boat on the weekend. The performance pickup truck segment has become one of the most exciting spaces in the entire industry. These aren't just work trucks with big engines anymore. They're engineered, purpose-built performance machines with six-figure price tags and technology packages that rival dedicated sports cars. The TRX versus Raptor R rivalry has become the Ford versus Chevy debate of a new generation, and Ram just threw down the kind of spec sheet that's going to keep Ford's engineers working late nights. Now we enter truly rarefied air. The Porsche 911 GT2 RS has always been the most extreme expression of what the 911 platform can achieve, and this generation is expected to push even further beyond the already legendary GT3 RS. The turbocharged flat-six engine in the GT2 RS takes the GT3's naturally aspirated, rev-happy philosophy and replaces it with massive forced induction power. Think well north of 700 horsepower in a car that weighs under 3,200 pounds. Porsche's engineering philosophy for the GT2 has always centered on a specific contradiction. Take the heaviest hitter in the lineup and make it feel surgically precise on a circuit. The amount of aerodynamic development, suspension calibration, and tire engineering that goes into these cars is staggering. But here's what's fascinating about the conversation surrounding this car. The Porsche enthusiast community is deeply split on the direction of the modern 911. Purists argue that each successive generation moves further from the air-cooled rear-engine simplicity that defined the car's soul. Others counter that the GT2 RS is the pinnacle of what performance engineering can achieve when cost isn't the primary constraint. This philosophical tension is actually part of what makes every GT2 RS launch an event. But it's not just a car release, it's a referendum on what the 911 should be. Genesis might be about to do something that no other manufacturer has pulled off in decades: bring pillarless coach doors to a mass production luxury vehicle. The GV90 is their flagship electric SUV, and those suicide-style rear-hinged doors that you normally only see on concepts and ultra-limited production exotics are reportedly making it to the showroom floor. From a pure engineering standpoint, pillarless coach doors are incredibly difficult to execute in production. Without a B-pillar, the entire body structure has to be reinforced differently to meet crash safety standards. The door sealing becomes exponentially more complex. The cost of tooling is dramatically higher. There's a reason almost nobody does this. It's a nightmare to mass produce while maintaining structural integrity and weatherproofing. If Genesis actually delivers on this, it would represent a legitimate disruption in the ultra-luxury EV space currently dominated by brands with decades more heritage. Genesis is barely 10 years old as a standalone brand, and they're attempting something that established players like Mercedes and BMW haven't even tried at this scale. The GV90 is a statement vehicle. It's Genesis saying loud and clear that they intend to compete at the very highest tier of the luxury market, and they're willing to take engineering risks that legacy brands won't. That ambition alone makes this one of the most fascinating launches of the decade. And at number 1, the car that might genuinely rewrite the American supercar narrative forever. The Chevrolet Corvette ZR1X combines a twin turbocharged V8 engine with a hybrid electric motor to produce a combined output of 1,250 horsepower. That number puts it in direct competition with 7-figure European hypercars from the factory at a fraction of the cost. Performance figures are absolutely staggering. Chevrolet is targeting a top speed of 233 miles per hour and a quarter-mile time in the sub-9-second range. To put that in perspective, those are numbers that would have been considered physically impossible for a road-legal production car just 15 years ago. The hybrid system isn't just there for power either. The electric motor provides instantaneous torque fill during turbo lag, which means the power delivery is more linear and more usable than a pure turbocharged setup could ever achieve on its own. What makes the ZR1X so significant goes beyond the spec sheet. This is a mid-engine, hybrid electric American supercar being sold through Chevrolet dealerships alongside Equinoxes and Silverados. It democratizes hypercar-level performance in a way that no European manufacturer is willing to do. Ferrari, McLaren, Porsche, they all gatekeep their highest performance products behind 7-figure price tags and invite-only allocation lists. Chevrolet is putting 1,250 horsepower in a car that your local dealer can order. That philosophy, world-class performance without the velvet rope, is what has defined the Corvette for 7 decades. The ZR1X is the most extreme expression of that idea ever built. And it might just be the car that forces the rest of the world to stop treating American performance engineering as second tier. This is the one that breaks the internet. If this video got you hyped about the future of cars, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our deep dives on each of these launches as they happen. Drop a comment telling me which car on this list you're most excited about, and which one you think is going to be the biggest disappointment. I read every single comment. I'll see you in the next one.